Following 2 days of deliberations, the GCC leaders concluded the 37th GCC summit in Sakhir yesterday. This year's summit witnessed a reaffirmation of the bloc's vision of strengthening cooperation not only amongst themselves, but also with one of their oldest allies, the United Kingdom. Mohamed Alshaaban reports.
The 37th GCC summit came to a close on Wednesday after 2 days of deliberations between Their Majesties and Highnesses, the leaders of the Council. The summit resulted in the launch of the Sakhir Declaration, which highlighted the resolutions and decisions the leaders have arrived at in these tough geopolitical and socio-economic ties for the region.
I can say that, our region really is going through very turbulent times, politically and economically. And the countries of the GCC countries, the leaders standing side by side and closing the ranks is the most important thing, if you ask me, because only that way GCC countries can be stronger and more resilient against any threat, be it political or be it economic.
On the political and security fronts, the GCC leaders have vowed to continue their strategic defense cooperation and the conduction of joint exercises against any threats. They also called on Iran to stop meddling in the internal affairs of the GCC states and halt its proxy wars elsewhere in the region. The GCC also reiterated its support for legitimacy in Yemen. On the economic side, the leaders called for the push in joint projects in the pipeline, while also calling on unifying the regulations of telecommunication and ICT in the countries of the bloc, while expediting the joint railway network for the benefits it would reflect on the joint economic march of the GCC.
The fact remains that it is the only functioning Arab body that residents or citizens can actually travel with just an ID. There is an unprecedented level of cooperation between the GCC countries, despite the difference in views on particular points. There is no any other political entity or a union that doesn't have issues. We've just seen what's happening in the European Union. So the fact that there are differences in points of view does not mean that it's not the most efficient and effective Arab body there is.
The GCC Gulf countries have done a number of projects in the area of cooperation. One of the major ones which has been very successful is the GCC electricity network. In other words, all the 6 countries of the GCC are connected for electricity through cables which are extended to all of them. Building on this success, the GCC leaders are now considering a similar network for water. And the water in this case, of course, is a main source of drinking water is from desalination from the Arabian Gulf. Therefore, the GCC have commissioned a study and a strategy has been developed for the sustainability and security of the water.
British Prime Minister Theresa May addressed the summit and stressed the UK's unrelenting support for the GCC countries, vowing to further strengthen the long-standing ties between her country and the bloc in the wake of the Brexit, especially in security and defence and the economic arena.
This is an event, a GCC event that has been upgraded to a full GCC UK summit where various topics have been discussed between GCC and the UK. I think this relationship has been elevated to a strategic partnership level where GCC and the UK will benefit from various cooperations, whether in defense, and finance, and security, and various other aspects, education, cybersecurity. So a wide variety of topics have been discussed, and hopefully we will see the fruits of it in the next coming years.
The GCC summit also called on further social integration in youth activities and education curricula that would instill the fruits of cooperation and unity in our youngsters. And so another summit comes to an end. The vision still remains a stronger, united bloc with common goals and a shared destiny. Mohamed Alshaaban, Bahrain International.